So it's Sunday today, and we're doing anything but a Sierra Hotel 1 Tango radio. A few weeks ago, we had a Radiomobile 202 come in from a customer, and we also had a Cybernet Beta 3000 come in from a customer. And I've dug out the Ford Roadmaster 505, which of course is the same thing. It's one I bought off eBay some years ago. Mark's tested it, and he says it doesn't work. So we've got a bit of a short power lead, which we might be able to do something with. It's got the bracket with it. And it's got the factory original mic, which is quite unusual. I can't remember what I paid. I would think it'd be under 20 quid. And start by taking this side bracket off with the screws, which shouldn't be like that. I'm hoping we'll be able to do something with it, because they're nice radios. That looks more like a fidelity bracket, but I'm sure we can prove it one way or the other. So we've got to pray that this, talking about praying, I've done my church service today via Zoom from the organ restoration workshop here on a finished organ which we have. So we'll open this up whilst we're on record. I've been making sure my in shelf is more populated with radios than it has been of late. We cleared all but two off one shelf, but I've managed to take more rigs out of boxes, put them on the in shelf. Looks okay. I'm still looking for my Rotel 220. Computer says it's on that shelf or in the vicinity of, but I haven't spotted it yet, because that's what I want to do a recap on. Don't do a recap on a high-end set like this. I want to try and keep this original. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll switch over to cameras, and you can have a look at some more of the tat we've got here. I was rebuked that the Planet 2000 with a yellow meter is not tat, and he's quite right. Switch to that camera. Press the right button. That's the wrong button. That's the one. So what have we got? So on the top shelf, the vertical radios are brand new sets, and some we've gone through, some we haven't gone through. The horizontal boxes are boxes with nothing in them, because the sets are out elsewhere. So the next shelf down, the vertical boxes I think are both empty. The Sertel walkie-talkie box has one in it, and we've got some. Oh, I know what we were going to say, if I can reach to point. This set with the front peeling off was what I was going to do today. It's a what? Well, Chiser or something like that. 868, there's no meter in it, so we're stuck with that again. What else is down here? Oh, I can see that yellow metered Planet now. I think that's about as low an angle as we're going to see. Oh, I know what, that TRX 404 in the box horizontal, that one. It's a tatty box with what looks like a newish set in it, but it's CPT, so it bores me. Seeing as CP doesn't work here. That low TX40, don't know if there's one in it. Yeah, so that could be the low TX40, which should be in the box to the left on an angle with no knob on it. I mean, sometimes you're getting incomplete sets like that. So that was the in tray of forthcoming attractions. Let's go back to there. That's it. And select that camera. And picture in picture. There we go. That's not quite on. The something's moved. Is the wind getting such here? Let's see whether we can just move that a fraction. Everything's going to be off on this video. Okay, so with the power leaders presented, we'll connect that up. I was going to do, on that shelf we've got a TTI 550 power. Does that mean it does actually do 4 watts and not 3.2? That's probably what power means. Right, so we've got the crocodile clips on there. Make sure we're at 13.8 volts. I still can't get over that TTI 550 in the service manual. Blows into the cells. It says, turn the power supply up to 15.8 volts and see if the radio does 4 watts. I didn't buy a 15.6 volt radio. No, I won't take the bottom off yet. I don't think there's any nasty surprises. It's lit up and it says channel 3, so we'll make it say channel 20, which is where we want it to be. We need RF gain at full, squelch at minimum, tone halfway, and let's make sure these are in the right position. That's interesting. Dim does nothing. Oh, here we go. What's happened here? So we've got some capacitors. Goes to the reference crystal to make it go on frequencies. That's so they can talk to people on illegal radios that can't do the 0.125. We'll find out. Tell you what, we'll put this camera on the frequency counter. Plug into the test instruments. People love turning high-end sets into junk. Okay, well it's doing 4 watts, I will tell you that. 27,79135, so that's clearly about where we should be. So what happens when we press this button here? Oh, 27,80125. So it's shifted it up a channel, hasn't it? So if we select channel 1, which should be 27,60125, and then flick the dim button, it's shifted it up a channel. So conversely, if we put it to channel 40, which should be 99125, and flick the switch, it goes into ham band. So they've given themselves a channel 41 illegally, have they? Now we'll soon deal with that. Right. Well, at the moment, we'll worry about this being as a normal radio. So forgetting that, although I can't put it on frequency until I've put that back right. What they don't realise, apart from the illegality of this, is that it then shifts the receive IF off. So it's no longer going to be 10.695. So it's going to be, with that in operation, it's going to be a really crummy receive. Okay, so we'll not do that. No, I'll tell you what, I'll demodify this and then we'll start from there. So I'll take the bottom off. Okay, so for the moment of truth, we'll see whether it still works, having hopefully turned it back. Don't know whether the dimmer switch will ever work again. We don't have a model specific service manual, so things like that can be a nightmare if they've been messed about. I can't see anything removed, but there you are. Right, so we're going to transmit 2779, let's bring that to 125. It might not come down. No, there's something going to be missing or altered. Back to the drawing board. So it turns out capacitor 3 was missing, just by the crystal, and it says 20 picofarads in another set. It's not shown, the value's not shown in the manual because it's select on test. So it's going to be within where the crystal is, you know. Crystals are going to vary as they come off the production line because they're grown and then cut. So there is a tolerance, and that will be to pad out the tolerance. So let's see whether we can do it now. 79032. So that's too low, which is, if you remember, we couldn't get it low enough. So 20 picofarads has been spot on. I'll get this right eventually. There we go, 2779125. So, because of it having some shenanigans, we'll just check the VCO. You just never know if it's been messed with. Always have to get the service manual out for this. I recall we start on channel 40, so channel 40 I will switch to radio to. I know it's a floating chassis, so we'll need to put our negative clip to negative power supply, so that's on there. Switch that to DC volts, see what the service manual says. In receive, test point 1. Test point 1 is, that's a bit floppy. Oh, that's just supposed to be. Test point 1's supposed to be there. So the far end doesn't resist resistor 4. There we go. I will put that on camera 1. Ready. So 3.97. It's supposed to be channel. It's supposed to be 4 volts, which is fine. Going to transmit. If it wasn't, you adjust the coil T1, which is just there, and then on transmit. It's also supposed to be 4 volts. It's 4.2. might be beneficial just to pop that down with the trimmer, which is the red one there. So into transmit. .8 something. No. .97 will do me. Actually, it's wandering around, so it's probably dirty. So I'm just going to twazzle that around. There's a good word. Reset it. .8. Even the ceramic tools affecting this. 4.1, that'll do me. 4.1, 3.98. Then go to channel 1 and check they're around about 2.5. .42. There we go. So on between 1.8 and 2.5 it's supposed to be, so that's fine. So it didn't really need adjustment, but it's always best to, because otherwise you can end up with channels disappearing at the extremes, you know, like channel 38, 39, 40 not working or something like that. Especially when it's had something messing with the VCO. That's when you need to be certainly checking it. I've also observed that it's doing more power at one end than the other, and these radios balance up pretty well. So that will be addressed as well. So we'll start with transmit. So at the moment it's doing 4.4 watts, so we're just going to make sure we've got a peak on channel 20. I'll put the spectrum analyzer on ready. And with the green plastic tool, you need to go to maximum on these three. See, we're at 4.5 watts, 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, somewhere around there. Okay, so now we need to get those in the right order. So we adjust, you adjust L4 clockwise for 4.4 watts. So that's L4, the yellow one. So we'll turn it clockwise till we get 4.4, so we're now tuning downwards. And then we tune the other one anti-clockwise. That's 9, so we're missing out that one in the middle. And it's anti-clockwise, it says for 3.8 watts, but of course we're doing it for 4 watts. We don't have to try and get this radio through customs. This microphone is intermittent. We've got a duff lead on it, so it's anti-clockwise for 4 watts. Now we have 4 watts. So now we'll put this into spectrum analyzer. So let's look at that. 6. So there's our fundamental. Move that up to there. There we've got the naughty one. We've got to check that naughty one is less than 50. I think it's 50 minus 56 dBm, something like that, and it is 50 minus 51 dBm. So it just needs to come down a fraction. So we'll just look at this one. So I'm still doing 4 watts, and we've brought it down to minus 56. It's just in there, just in. Right, I'll switch that off, that'll do. So let's see how we're doing with the power meter. You actually set this on low power. So at the moment, when we key it up, we're getting all the lights. Switch to low power, which is a slide switch at the back. Make sure the radio is doing 400 milliwatts. It's actually doing 200 and something milliwatts. That's near enough, but we'll just adjust it anyway. Thought I'd got it. Take the tool out and it's moved. There we are, 400 milliwatts. Oh, I'm not got the camera back on there. There we are. We're on low range. That's 3 watts. That's 0.5. So that's 400 milliwatts. And we should have 1 light showing. And we've actually got 3, so that's not set up right. So the preset there is for the RF meter. At least on sets like this, it has a real one and not. In fact, the lowest it'll come down to is there. So now we'll go back to full power, and they should all light. And they certainly do. And we've got what power? 4 watts, 0.000 something, because it's now cooled down. Okay, so that's transmit. Let's look at deviation. So it's a bit high. Wallow. Wallow. It's about 3.5. That needs to come down. So we need the AGC one to centre. And then the deviation, it's quite a long drawn out procedure in the service manual, but this has always worked for me. Wallow. Well, it does when this mic works. 1 2 1 2. Wallow. 1 2 wallow. Actually needs to just come up a fraction. Wallow. That's it. Spot on. So now we'll move over to receive. Plug the instrument speakers in, whichever one it is. Sounds pretty awful, to be honest. I've got volume. I've got way higher than you'd expect. Okay, so we'll start with the detector. Can't really turn the volume up where I want it. The detector's the one down there. I'll just make sure that this isn't playing up for any particular reason. Okay, that sorted something out. This mic lead's gonna cause us some grief here. Gonna swap it for our new standard mic because of that. Otherwise we're all over the place with the readings. So at the moment we're doing very well. And for 12 decibel cyanide, we're doing 0.27 of microvolts, so it's 0.27. Let's turn that down. Don't think we're going to better that. We'll go through it. Actually, there's a very small improvement there. Let's go through these IF ones. There is one under that wiring. You know, when a set's been really screwdrivered, they've often missed that one under the wiring, and that's good. Right, let's see what we're getting now. .24 microvolts for 12 decibel cyanide. A very small improvement, but it's already excellent. So 12 for 10 decibels, 0.23 microvolts, and for 20 it's 1. It isn't, you know. No, it's only point. It's about 0.5 microvolts for 12, so it's very, very good. This as good as my Rotel 230. Right, so we're done with that. So we'll put S9 back on the test set, and let's look at the S meter. So I like it to just be the 4th bar for 100 microvolts input. So there we go, just 100. So if we go back on the attenuator, you can see that move, and S9's 4. So that's that. Squelch. Switches the signal generator off, and it's standing by at 0.3 of a microvolt. Let's set the squelch to full. That's squelch to full. Switch the signal generator on and go to 100 microvolts. It's coming at 30 microvolts, which is too early. So I'll just drop the signal generator off a bit. Now it's coming in at 100 microvolts, which is where I want it. So now at the other end, we'll turn the squelch down, switch the signal generator off, set threshold. It's a bit too fine, that. Switch the signal generator back on. It's come straight in, gone off. So let's find where it is. It's coming in at 1. It's coming in at 0.37. Coming in at 0.37, going off at 0.31. So that's a nice, useful sensitivity. So the only thing which we've left uncovered is that problem with the dimmer switch, which I may not be able to. I can't be putting hours and hours into these things, but it's one of those things that's happened. So let's look at voltage. We're at 13.8 volts, and the radio's doing 4 watts. Let's go back to camera 1. Let's look at the effect of different voltages. So 12 volts. So at 12 volts, this radio is doing 3 watts. At 14.6, it's doing 4.5 watts. (13.8) is doing 4. It's drawing 260 milliamps at the moment. If I take the signal generator off and a squelch comes in, it's doing 230, and in transmit, it's doing 1170, so 1.17 amps. I'll have a very quick look at that, but I'm not expecting to do anything to it. Right, so back on record. One nano, Roger. Well, there's a bit of radio traffic, so we didn't get anywhere with that switch. Trying to guess what somebody's done. But one day we'll get another one in, and I will make a note on the file on the computer, and we'll be able to copy whatever's happened. Or, I don't think there ever was a Ford service manual, but anyone who has one, you may email it to me and it will be received gratefully. So there you have it, the Ford Roadmaster 505 using the Cybernet 134 chassis, and that's of course from 1981. Well, I seem to recall it was 119.99. Thanks for watching.